Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and let's play Warlocks. It's by one more level. It's got an ongoing Kickstarter with a $25,000 goal. It ends on October 2nd, 2014. $12 or more will get you a digital copy. It's also been greenlit on Steam Greenlight. It's currently planned for Windows, Linux, Mac, and the Wii U apparently, and with possibilities of going to the PS4 and Xbox One, depending probably on how well the Kickstarter does. Let's go ahead and hop right into the story mode. Single player. This is an interesting little game. I'm liking it so far. Many people who've watched my channel know that I'm not into the whole pixelated graphics thing, but so far in this game it's okay. So first, let's start on a character I'm not very far with. We'll go with Jake, I guess.
Time for some fun.
Not all of them are voice acted just yet. Again, keep in mind it is just on Kickstarter. So you have 4 abilities. I'll be using the keyboard. I would actually use the controller because I think the controller makes more sense, but the game wasn't recognizing it for some reason. Like the buttons, like it would recognize 2 buttons. I'm not sure why that is, but at any rate, we've got a fireball. This is a basic attack. Like all of his spells, it sets his enemies on fire, leveling the ability also increases the passive damage. We have fire walls, summons 2 walls made of fire. I thought it said tire at first. They push away and deal damage to every enemy that tries to pass through them. Flame rush. The spell increases Jake's movement speed for a short while. For its duration, it leaves behind a trail of fire that rains down on enemies. And Moonwalk. This is a channeling spell, which means you have to hold down the button to cast it. Jake then proceeds to dance, summoning a powerful meteor shower. Let's go ahead and get right in.
Time for some fun.
So in this game, it is multiplayer capable, which I think is going to be where this game really shines. And I do think there is a cop-out that some people do where there's just a cop-out with co-op, if you will. And maybe not even a cop-out, but basically every game is more fun multiplayer. I even played through Aliens Colonial Marines co-op, and it was pretty fun because it was co-op, but not because the game was good. But of course, some games are just exponentially better with co-op. So let's go ahead and get our flame wall up, do our rush through here, get another flame wall up. Kind of trap them in the middle while they stand there and get hit. Now I've played with not all of the enemies of these guys, these like exploding ticks, so we have to look out for them. I haven't played with all of the different characters yet, but I think I've done all of them but one. Anyway, you find random items like greaves, weapons, things like that. Now this isn't your typical game where you're like, oh, I found boots, oh, I found another pair of boots, well, I need to replace the boots I had. It looks like you can just keep all of the stuff that you have. You don't have to actually replace it. We'll do the moonwalk thing here in a minute. Once we get everybody kind of split up here. Let's get a wall so we can moonwalk. The moonwalk seems pretty broken. It seems pretty nice. One thing I think that does need to be worked on, at least from what I've seen so far, is some heroes just seem far better than others. For example, there's a guardian hero who's melee, and he seems incredibly weak overall. I'm not going to show all the different heroes that you can play as. And that apocalypse thing respawns really quickly. But yeah, there seems to be some balance issues with the heroes. But again, we're very early on. So let's pick up this knife and these boots. I don't know how to actually check your inventory. But let's go ahead and move on to the next stage. At the top right, you can see I just cleared 8 of 8 waves. So far, and I'm assuming this is what the game's going to be at release, is that you basically warp into a level and you have to kill all the enemies. You have to clear out all the waves of enemies. And then if you survive, you move on to the next stage. You get loot, you gain levels as you saw before. Actually, did I gain a level? Oh yeah, I didn't. I gained a level, but I didn't use it. Let me level by hitting space, and I click the button for the corresponding skill. Let's go with the nuke. The nuke seems to be ridiculously powerful. Let's make it even more ridiculously powerful. That makes sense. Let's get this wall up and then dance. One thing I don't like is when enemies first come out of the portal, they're invulnerable for a little bit, but they can attack you. That feels a little bit cheesy. Feels a little bit cheap that they can attack you. Like, I totally get that, you know, maybe you don't want people like hanging out right at the thing. I can't shoot fireballs for some reason now. I presume that might be a bug. Yeah, I can't shoot fireballs. Weird. Oh, wow. A nice green item. But yeah, different types of items do have different effects, as you might imagine. Armor makes you tougher. weapons like swords and wands make you do more damage, things like that. And I'm going to show at least a few different heroes off. And one nice thing too is so far the game keeps track of how far you are with each hero, like building the wall and then bringing the fire down. Ooh, come on, I was hoping to get that kill on that tick, the exploding tick thing. Yeah, as you can see, when it's got the white health bar, it's invulnerable. All right, now my fireballs are back. That's good. Let's see, can we level up the apocalypse again? We sure can. Let's go ahead and get that up. Yeah, that's pretty darn good to say the least. Again, especially compared to other heroes that seem to be meh, a little bit on the weaker side. So we're gonna play the pyro guy a little bit longer. Other than this, from what I've seen, I haven't really gotten that far, just because I'm not that good at it once it starts to get rough when there's a lot more enemies coming. And partially, I feel like that's just because I'm having to use the keyboard. Partially. The other part's just not being good enough. Now, the money, you might say, well, what the heck is this money for? On some stages, once you finish the stage, clear all the waves out, there's a merchant that you can buy things from. Right now, it's just, you know, your standard items. You can buy, again, armor, weapons, things like that. You can see my health over my head with a little green bar. As you might expect, when my health is out, I die. So at the end of some stages, you get things like a treasure chest. So I'm going to hop up there. I don't believe the stages are going to be generated or like procedurally generated or anything. These are not, at least. This armor is set to bestow the power of nature. Nice. And you'll notice I'm getting health every second. I think that one green piece of armor that I got gave me regen, which is pretty darn awesome. Keyboard controls wise, I'm using the arrow keys to move, and then ZXCV to shoot, to use my abilities. I can't use fireballs again. Again, obviously, very early build. This is a Kickstarter build, so this was, and just for full disclosure, this was sent to me. I think this is like the official press build that was sent to me by the developers. So that wanted me to cover it, and I'm really happy to help because I'm actually enjoying this game so far. I'm actually, at first glance, I was like, this looks all right. I don't use that move enough. But it's been actually quite good so far, and I could really see this shining in multiplayer. Again, a lot of times multiplayer, it's kind of a cop-out. It's like, well, it's no fun single player, but multiplayer, it's amazing. But I think it's okay in this game because it's hard to describe why, but you think you kind of get what I'm saying. At any rate, let me get away from these guys and do dancing here, and we'll probably kill a few more enemies. We're not going to go through this whole stage of waves. I want to show you some of the other heroes. But yeah, basically the waves get harder. There's new enemies that pop up. Waves get harder because there's more of these enemies. So you have to kill them faster and move around a lot, use the environment to your advantage, and really start making use of your abilities. One thing I like is you can lose a lot of your abilities in the air. So like, for example, the dash I can do in the air. The fire or the dance I started in the air as well. Go ahead and rain out some death on these guys. Get the walls up. Keep them back. Yeah, the wall ability is really nice. And this ability is crazy good too. Like crazy good. But anyway, let's go ahead and quit the pyromancer for now. And let's pick the shaman, because I think she's very interesting. Now she has 2 modes. This seems like a pretty complicated type character. This definitely does not seem like a beginner's character. Because not only does she have regular moves, she can switch stances, and she has a lot of synergy type abilities. That's one thing I'd like to see more as well, more synergy. This character in particular has a lot of synergy both with herself and with other characters. Part of that is because of this, her totem. Now normally you shoot, kind of a weak ability or like attack, and of course I put the totem at the worst possible place behind that tree. But if you have this totem up and you shoot through it, it actually boosts the type of damage you're doing. So you can see it's actually doing more damage and it's stunning them. We're going to drop some poison down. Oh wait, that was a heal. So as you can see though, if we're not going through the totem, our damage is really weak. But we can do things like this, and then we can switch stances, do some poison, get on the other side of this totem. I don't know if the totem affects her other weapons. I think it does, because I think I was reading that her totem affects like all projectiles that go through it. So we can change, switch the totems. Die. I'm trying to show off something. Now that's annoying for her, is if they get so close, you can't shoot them. She can heal herself and allies. This seems like a really, really good support character. And you see, the problem with her is she gets overwhelmed. But again, I feel like you could probably improve that just by learning how to combo her stuff a lot better. Like, I'm not using her poison enough. Get them in on that poison. Switch back. Wait for this. Because I'm really trying to check this. Here we go. Yeah, it doesn't seem to make a difference on the daggers, I don't think. No, that's unfortunate. But I know, I'm pretty sure it said other characters, it does matter. And there's also some kind of a... She can teleport with the dagger. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe that was it. Because the daggers, like, mark them, basically. And then I think she can teleport to them and do a area damage effect. But yeah, you can really see how, you know, if you combine the stuff up, especially with other players, it seems like you could do some really nice stuff. And switching back and forth between the different modes, this character just seems way more interesting than the others. Like, the others have some pretty cool stuff, and I'll show some of the other ones here. But it seems like she's really got some interesting synergies, which I feel like the other characters are missing. I feel like they're missing not only synergies with themselves, but with other characters. Now, that's not going to make sense with some of the other characters I'm going to show you, because, like, for example, the Ice Princess, or Ice whatever she is, she can stack an ice dot, and then she can explode those dots into doing more damage based on how many you've stacked. But it's kind of a more artificial, not really artificial, but it doesn't feel as dynamic, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's hard to describe, but yeah, I'm probably gonna stop playing her soon, because like I said, I'm not really that good with her, but I feel like she could be very interesting combining her totems in group play, swapping the modes. I like the way she looks in this mode too. It looks pretty sweet. Poisoning enemies, swapping back, healing up. She definitely seems like she's going to be more of a, like, you know, slow burn type character, at least solo. But yeah, I think she's a very interesting character. Let's go ahead and go back to the main menu. Like I said, I just want to show a few of the different characters off so you get an idea of how they play. The Ice Mistress is the one that I played first. And as I mentioned before, it keeps up with how far you've made it. So this character is actually kind of far. I'm on stage 1-4. And I'm not going to make it too far. Because I feel like she's better than I can play her, as I can't mix my abilities up right. So she's got the basic attack like this. And all of her attacks, if you see, this put like an icicle over their heads that kind of fills up as it goes. Like right there, only the top part of it's filled up. But if I do it again, if I can hit him, I will say flying enemies feel incredibly annoying. Like, hitting them is very annoying. See, watch how it kind of fills up as they go through that. Now I can shatter, which does damage based on how many of those stacks of ice they have on them. And of course, keep in mind too, you can upgrade all of these abilities as you level. And you do pick what you upload. You pick what you upgrade. Again, and you can use your abilities in the air, which I think is a very nice touch. Let's grab that helmet. And if you die, which I have quite a few times, then you start back on the stage that you were on. But you lose your levels too, I believe. Pretty sure. That would make sense. And again, you can use your abilities in the air, so I can use my ice slide. Let's grab these boots. Oops. That's my other problem, is I'm always hitting the wrong button. See, I had full stacks on them, so that actually did a lot of damage. Yeah, the jumping enemies are super annoying, because a lot of your combo attacks, and multiple characters seem to have been built around the idea of like combos. Oops, let me heal up with a potion there. You can pick up potions that you can use to heal. But it can be hard to get that in the air properly, or the abilities in the air to hit the enemies. Oh, wow. There was like 3 of those guys. But yeah, I like the Ice Princess again. I feel like she could do some really cool stuff, no pun intended. Maybe a little bit intended, with combining things. Like I said, she has the Ice Mist, which as soon as an enemy spawns, I'll show it. Well, I'll just do it now. She basically shoots that Ice Mist, and anything that walks through it slows down and gets stacks of the ice on them, which of course you can use to blow them up. Come on. Now you see why I really, really hate these ice things. Ugh. And when you shoot in the wrong direction, that helps a lot. You'll also notice that ice debuff doesn't last very long. So you either want to activate it fast or you want to get it, you know, restacked on quickly. I hate those exploding ticks. Actually, they're usually not too bad, but when you're not paying attention, they can get you for sure. I thought there was a shark fin. Alright, let's go over here. Sometimes the tick moving faster than everything else is beneficial to you. Oops. I always hit the wrong buttons. That's why I would rather be using this with a gamepad. But of course, they'll have that fixed before they release, I'm sure. Originally, this was supposed to be a Risk of Rain type game, which I don't think I tried Risk of Rain because it was a roguelike, and I believe it was a roguelike, and I don't like roguelikes, so that's why I did not play it. Come on, let's go ahead and... I love that you can use your abilities in the air, by the way. Like, I love that even the slides and stuff that doesn't maybe make a lot of logical sense, you can use them in the air regardless. I think that's awesome. I would really like to try this game with doing some multiplayer. I think that would be a lot of fun. Especially if you pick one person who... Like, I like playing support anyway in these types of games. I love that shatter when there's full stacks. It's nice. Do we get... yeah, we did get level. I've been too busy yapping. Let's see. Let's upgrade the shatter again. And I always mix my keys up, which is funny because I'm hardcore PC gamer. But yet, with these types of games, I always mix my keys up horribly. Alright, get them stacked up. So yeah, it's some of these classes are just a lot of fun to play. Like it gets pretty repetitive. There's nothing, there's the same enemies. You're just kind of fighting off the hordes, but kind of comboing your abilities. I'm gonna heal up again. Is just a lot of fun. And apparently, misclicking is a lot of fun for me. That slide is really good because it seems like a lot of times it's stacking up the 3, especially when I do that. That's a really nice combo. Ooh, I hate you guys. I'm gonna heal again. And certain abilities you get... I really, really do not like the flying guys. Nice. Did we get anything? Any special treasure chest or merchant or anything? But yeah, I like finding these little combos and then executing them, getting the ice stacked up and then exploding them, and it's just a lot of fun doing these little things. Like I said, the combat itself is pretty simplistic. You only have the 4 abilities, but I guess the fun comes in trying to figure out interesting ways to combine them. And again, right now there only seems to be that many. There's only so many combos you can do. But again, I would like to see more synergy between the classes, which I haven't played the multiplayer, so I don't know how. Maybe it's a little bit better in multiplayer, but just from reading the descriptions of the abilities, it doesn't seem like there's that much synergy except with the shaman. They pretty obviously built the shaman with co-op in mind, because a lot of her abilities, specifically say like works well with other players, or combines with other players' shots, and blah blah blah. Nobody else really says that. Nobody says, oh, this works for allies too, anything like that, as far as I can remember. I mean, it has been like a whole few hours or so since I played this. I did it again. Got lost in the game. As you can see, the flying enemies start piling up because they're so hard to hit. There we go. That might help. Yeah. As you can see, it's getting a bit hairy here, to say the least. Come on, fly right in that. Wait for it. Wait for it to stack twice. Yeah, it's just really satisfying with this character to really find ways to get the ice to stack and then blow it up for lots of damage. That's a lot of mosquitoes. I will say I wish my ice bolts did piercing though, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Am I regenerating health? Because it seems like I've been taking a lot of damage, but yet I'm still mostly okay. Hit the wrong button yet again. Yeah, the flying enemies just seem more monotonous than anything to kill because you're just jumping and shooting and jumping and shooting. So those guys not very fun to be fighting, to be honest. That's one of my, probably my biggest complaint so far is just jumping shooting is just annoying after a while. Alright, let's go back to the menu. We're going to show one more hero. Now this is actually someone at first I did not like.
They tell me it's a suicide mission.
Rainer, the Guardian. I did not like this guy at first. Now his abilities, he has a charge attack, which puts a lightning debuff on enemies. He has a shield, which keeps him from taking damage, and he can also explode for damage that knocks enemies back. And then he's got this skull ability here, which only works if somebody's marked, and then when it's marked, he warps to every enemy that has the mark and hits them with a melee. So at first I was really not feeling this guy. I was like, nah, I don't really get it. Melee just didn't seem to be very powerful. We also have this range knockback that he has. But once you kind of get the flow of it, and especially when you keep hitting the wrong keys like I continually do, watching him warp around is pretty cool. Get your shield up, which is what I should have been doing this whole time. And I think the shield automatically does damage. Well, actually no, I think if the enemies destroy your shield, I don't think it does any extra damage. I don't think it does any... It doesn't do the knockback. The big part I have a problem with is remembering to keep the damn shield on. I always forget to keep the shield on. As soon as it drops and the refresh comes back up, you should be putting it back up. And you can see it also does only last for so long. So he moves around a lot, which is pretty, just from a visual standpoint, looks pretty neat. He's warping all over the place, flying through. It's just fun to play. The flow feels really good. Take this! Puts a shield on. That really wasn't Merkin. Again, the character is much better when you don't keep hitting the shield explode button on accident, because apparently video game keys are very hard to figure out. Oop. Grab this wand. Look out for the exploding ticks. Only hit the one guy. And you do have to, keep in mind that, when you're warping to them, you're not invulnerable. They can still hit you, so you want to get out quickly. That's what, the purpose of the shield, I presume. Just wait for that shield. I shot the bug in the outer space there, apparently. And it's also, with this guy, what's fun is trying to get the enemies lined up and hitting as many as you can and just warping all over the place. It's just a lot of fun. Like, it's just, like I say, that's why I say I don't want to pass judgment on any of these classes, because one, well, it's probably wouldn't even be considered a beta, and two, I might just not be playing them right, not really understanding their full potential, if you will. Like I say, I'm probably not even expending this guy's full potential, but... Oop, let's get your shield up. Alright, the shield's down. But yeah, I think that gives you the idea of Warlocks. Again, it is on Kickstarter. It's got a $25,000 goal. Very, very reasonable goal to have. Check out the Kickstarter. All relevant links will be in the description below the videos. Again, I really like this game. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's fun trying to figure out how to play the different classes. Some of them feel pretty broken, like the fire dude. He seems pretty ridiculous. Just throwing up firewalls, dash away with the fire, and then do the dance. Seems pretty crazy good. But of course, early on, I'm sure there will be much balancing. There's supposed to be 10 heroes in total when they're finished. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this one. It seems a lot of fun, especially if you've got one or more friends that you want to play with online. I think that would be, like I said, I think it'd be a lot of fun. There's also a versus mode. Do I think that's only 2 players? Actually, no, I take that back. I think deathmatch is only, I think it's 4-player, but it's local only, I think, at least for now. Again, who knows? I don't know what this test your luck is. But absolutely check out Warlocks, check out the Kickstarter. It has been greenlit, as I mentioned before. All relevant links in the description below the video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, some games that are pretty neat that you might not have heard of, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, leave comments on what you think of this video and of this game, and I'll see you next time.
Step back though. We are getting this
I do
worked
hate
up
you, though.
about a mobile game. I mean,
I do hate you though. I want to be 100% clear with a moment of seriousness. I hate your guts.